It's a Friday. It's Friday. Am I recording?
Here?
Like on the thing. Can you see if I'm recording?
Yeah, you are.
She's recording, folks. Folks. I hate that word, actually, when they say folks.
You know, if you worked like in an office,
Yeah.
would you have to sit with your legs down?
Me?
Like people.
I don't even sit at a restaurant with my legs down. I automatically put them up. I cross my legs at restaurants. Yeah, judge me. I don't like the feeling of my legs hanging. It feels gross. It feels weird.
I feel like a lot of people do stand-up desks now.
Well, they walk. How boring. Thank God I don't do that. And then they everything's open and okay, hold on. I'm just looking for my article, guys, because here's what I did. I actually sent myself something because at nighttime now I lie in bed and I read, and I don't know why I do that because it's kind of boring and stuff. But
it's not boring if what you're reading is interesting.
well, I try to save the good stuff for you. I try to save the juice for Natalie.
Oh, I might see my top's a bit tight.
Okay. Well, let's go on vacation. I was looking at pictures last night that came up. We're so pretty.
I wish you'd send me. I needed to see it
Because I went through stories. You know when something comes up and someone responds?
I love
I'm like,
that.
wow, we were tanned and the really pretty tanned.
Oh,
and
yeah.
lined by the pool and we were having cocktails and it was we were people watching. There was so much to watch.
Oh my gosh! Remember that actor was there?
Oh my God. And people were
Everyone
having
was so rich.
There was weddings, baby moons.
Yeah.
There was a love affair and she was so drunk and talking out loud.
Oh,
and then the
yeah.
restaurants, everything was just so. And we'd go
and
on
the
bike
lesbians
rides.
making out in the pool.
Oh, it was amazing. It was just so wow.
Hired lady, yeah.
It was amazing. And then she's like, I want a relation. He didn't want a relationship. And you could
then
tell.
we went on a bike ride.
It's just so fun. Okay. This is from BuzzFeed, as you do, because I saw it and I'm like, sorry, the wording is so peculiar. 24.
Wait, is peculiar a word?
Yeah, peculiar.
Peculiar?
Peculiar.
Oh, peculiar.
What'd I say?
Another one. It was good.
Peculiar.
It was two words together. It was
My son and I do that together.
Yeah.
We change words.
peculiar.
24
Yep.
grotesque cheating stories that'll make you go, damn, love isn't for the weak. Grotesque cheating stories. I'm like, what the hell?
I can't believe that they were able to find 24 of them.
Grotesque.
I'm really excited.
It's their community. They share their own harsh stories, proving that the dating world isn't for the weak. Okay, you ready?
I'm nervous.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if I'm going to be shocked or if I'm going to be like, okay, that title was a little extra.
I also want to let you know that when I read these, they're not my own personal confessions because someone yesterday was like, whoa, you have a 35 and 38-year-old. I'm like, no, because I read the confessions and he clips it our editor clips it like it's me saying it. I do not have a 38-year-old. They're like, you could, I'm like, how? They're like, how is that possible? You have a 38-year-old. And I'm like,
You should go with it. Yeah, I know. I look fucking amazing.
fucking 6 when I had the baby. I met a guy at my place of employment. We dated for a week, then he followed me on vacation to Cuba. He was at my house every weekend, usually at least 4 days. We also went on a vacation to Las Vegas. He left my place once to go to the hospital in his town to welcome his niece into the world.
Aw.
Years go by. There are anniversary flowers and cards, another vacation with my kids, then bam.
Wait, so she's dating him for years.
Yeah, because she has kids. So they're dating. They
Okay.
she's divorced and she's...
Okay.
Bam. There are 53 messages from some woman. He played it off as her flirting and he wanted to do nothing to do with her. I did my own digging on social media, which you didn't do before is a bit weird, but we won't judge you for that. And found out the truth. His niece was actually his daughter.
Uh-huh.
His sister was his wife of 21 years.
Oh, God.
His mother was his mother-in-law and his mom's house was his. He renovated his mom's house with money he made from defrauding the company he worked for. He wasted 6 years of my life with his double life. I was gaslit and love bombed. Never again. Wow.
Okay, so
that's very smart of him. Nieces and mother-in-laws and
so one time we were in, I'm going to say Houston.
You, me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were getting our hair done, and we just mentioned this story about a person who had like a double life and had two different families. And I don't know how the conversation came up, but it just sort of came up, and she's like, I can't believe this, but my dad did the exact same thing.
Oh,
Remember?
yes,
And then I loved it because she told me all the details. Every question I had, she had an answer for.
I remember.
And the kids were actually at the same school.
I remember. Actually, this is way more common than people think. Not common. This is way more happens way more than we would even imagine.
Yes.
Because it's not really talked about, but we personally know multiple people with husbands who've lived double lives. I don't think no woman could lead a double life.
No.
You can't have multiple kids with another family.
No.
Yet. Like it hasn't evolved yet to there.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And then it's got to be the biggest like shock to find out. And the fact that financially he can support two families,
although she was on her own.
In that case, yes.
He was smart because she had her kids. Like he didn't move in with her. He had actually picked the perfect person to do this with because she was kind of like a divorcee. I'm just guessing, but she said with her kids. So she had her own thing.
I'm just going to say like the closest thing that happened to me is once I met this guy at a club up at the cottage. And
at the club at the cottage. Interesting. Club at the cottage. There's a club at the cottage. That sounded just weird.
That's why it was the best cottage ever.
Club at the cottage.
I know.
Yeah, going to the cottage and I'm going to go to the club.
I know. That
bar, yes, but club, funny.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And it was an hour outside of Toronto, and then we would go down the long cottage road
to the club.
To the club.
An Uber.
Sorry, a taxi.
Oh, wait, sorry. Was this last year? When were you clubbing at the cottage and I didn't know about it and you were Ubering?
It was just the best of all worlds. And so I'd go to the club and I'd, make out with people. Obviously.
As you do.
And
sorry, I'm missing a tree here.
So one time I met this guy and I'm pretty sure we made out because
of course.
Why wouldn't I? I don't
just
just meet people and talk to them at a club at the cottage.
I'm not talking to you. I'm here to make out with you at the club. There, sorry. Okay, carry on.
And then he was like, he lived in Toronto too, like I did. So he got my number and he's like, I'd love to take you out. And
he got my beeper.
He got my
He got my email. That's what we used to do back then. So I gave him my email.
So then we must have talked on the phone and we were arranging a date and we had a date planned. And then I was at work.
Yeah.
And I worked at a clothing store. And the phone rang and the girl that I worked with was like, it's for you. And she was like, hi, she was very non-confrontational, but basically like, I see that my boyfriend has called you and I just want to know what he's been doing like with you. And cause I've been with him for like, 3 years and we're planning on, we're talking about spending our life together.
I wonder how she must have had suspicions because like, it's not like we had caller ID on the ready.
Yeah.
That was sort of something you would have to do like you'd have to figure out who called you or you'd have caller ID, but not going out. So she must have been
she called my work.
Oh, so she saw he wrote something.
Yeah.
She was suspicious, not just of you.
Yeah. And she was really kind of like, she was like nervous and I was just like.
Did he text you or call you?
It was my work number. So it must have been a call.
Him. Like originally, how were you guys communicating?
I think it was just phone number.
Like so texting or phone?
I don't think it was a text.
Because you didn't really have a cell phone until you were older.
Sorry. I was like 22 at the time.
I bet he texted you and she went through his text.
I did.
Or
I got this. I didn't have a cell phone until I met Mark.
So she was spying on you.
I think she just saw the call was missed.
You called him. She called back.
I think he called me and she saw the last call that he'd called.
Wow.
I guess. So I was like, oh my gosh, because I felt guilty immediately, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she's like, he said he's single? And I was like, I was just like, listen, Natalie, you gotta be mature here. He said he's single. Nothing happened, but we do have a date planned. And she's like, okay, thank you for telling me that. And I was like, obviously I won't be going on that date, and I'm not gonna. And I never heard from him again.
Where are they?
I don't even know what he looked like or what his name was.
Okay, so we don't know. We can't have a follow-up.
Like when you're younger, you just don't think about things like, thinking about it now, that was so bad.
Well, and you didn't do anything.
No, not of me. Like, what a bad guy.
I mean, it happens all the time. Especially if they're just dating someone. And especially if he's looking to like get more serious. He's probably like, I'm going to have fun.
I wonder if she married him. And he was old. They were older. Like, they're older than me.
I wonder if they're still together.
I bet they are.
If you're listening, ring us up. But she wouldn't know who you were.
Right.
That was fun. Memory lane.
Yeah.
I don't have any of those. Someone who was just cheating.
It was very uncomfortable. I'm glad I hadn't gone on a date with him or like had sex with him.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't tell her that we kissed at the club. I thought, no need.
That was nice of you. You really did save his ass. Could be like, he fingered me in the club.
Which might have happened. I don't know.
We'd watch him. Like, can you get your hands out of her pants? Like, seriously. You're in the club. Like, I know your heart. Like, come on. Stop fingering people at the club. That's disgusting. Like, sorry. And then you go grab a drink.
Yeah.
No, I don't want finger juice all over the club.
It's called pussy juice.
I don't want it everywhere. Like, come on. Like, you look over, the lights are on. You know what? It's no longer dark. These horny people.
Crazy things happened. Yeah. I mean, but you know what the thing is you know for sure because he was so good at it.
He did it. Oh, he's done it all the time.
He's done it so many times.
Do you want another one?
Yes.
Do we take a break first? I don't even know what time it is, but we'll just take a break. I have not read these, so these are just like hot off the presses. My husband was cheating on me with one of my friends. She was getting married and we RSVP'd yes to the wedding, but then suddenly he got a headache and we didn't go. I became suspicious. One night...
Why the hell did she marry a guy if she's having an affair with another guy?
Dude, convenience.
True.
And the thing's done and she's going and you know what I mean? Yeah. One night, only 2 months later, he called and said he was working late. I drove around and found his car parked next to her car in a local hotel. I called the hotel, connected to his room, and told him we were done. He said they weren't having sex. They were just doing cocaine, which I objected to.
We just have a drug problem
together.
Listen,
it's just cocaine together. It's not sex. Are you okay with that? I left, and a few months later, we met to do our taxes. He begged me to come back. I had heard my friend was pregnant with his child. When I asked him about it, he said he didn't care about her or the baby. That was the moment I knew I needed to move on. They got married, and because we are in the same business, I heard many stories that he continued to cheat on her. They deserve each other. My life is so much better without him now. That is called the Hot Mess Express. That's basically a train to the Hot Mess Express. Like, good for you for leaving. You should have done it the minute you're suspicious. Get out.
I want right now, I have a story to tell you.
About cocaine?
No.
We've actually never talked about cocaine on the podcast recently.
Are you sure? Yeah, now as of late, we can talk about cocaine.
I don't know. I've never tried cocaine.
I have a private story to tell you that I don't want to forget to tell you. I don't want
a private
story about cheating.
Recent?
No.
So
I cheated.
No, I
clip that.
So
but
excited.
I want to remember to tell you.
Because the
I
minute someone says cocaine, it's gonna hit.
Okay, but it has nothing to do with cocaine.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's gonna trigger you.
Okay.
I mean,
that's crazy. And I also, do you know that it's a lot more common, and I would think a lot less now, but back in the day, that people would have babies that would
weren't theirs.
Yeah, like they'd have a few kids, but one of them would be from the affair. And
we joke that Max is that.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. The one kid kind of looks different, and everyone just doesn't really say anything about it. But literally, she got pregnant during an affair, and then she has had the kid. Apparently, back in the day, it was quite common.
I have 2 kids. If I had not had a third, then you might think, what the hell? But the 2 of them are just white. Mark's like, how do these kids have such
Norwegian descent?
Features?
Yeah,
he thought there's Swedish popping through.
Yeah,
because
really.
he's Italian. So
yeah,
like his whole side of his family has dark skin.
Yeah,
he got fair.
He did get fair.
But you would think,
thank God he got fair, because if he was a dark Italian and you had those 2 kids,
I mean, they'd be so cute, tanned constantly.
Why are you so fair? Why are kids so fair?
Mine?
Yeah,
no idea. I mean, I was fair.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You are. Yeah, you're a blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady.
Yeah, but my mom and dad weren't crazy.
They weren't?
No, my mom's got such dark hair. I think of her dark features.
And what about your dad?
I mean, no, he had black hair.
Oh, and your brothers are dark too.
Yeah, just me. Do 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 do. My brother was blonde though when he was younger. The twin.
I mean,
there's no denying that they were twins.
There's no denying that they were twins.
Like that, it was like they came out together.
Oh, I'm not worried about them.
You're worried about me.
Well, you're the one who's carrying. Like none of your brothers have like white-haired kids. It's you.
My mom's side actually does on that other side, but it just came through. Who knew? She was just carrying the gene. Didn't happen to her. She just had it, popped it into me, and I carried it on.
Yeah,
because brown eyes are supposed to win, and all my kids are fair-eyed.
Yeah, and it is really crazy when that happens because I don't feel like there's a lot of like blonde adults, and like all my kids, I was like white hair, like Chloe's like clear blonde hair.
You were that.
We all did, and Phil was so white haired. So a lot of young children are like blonde.
Yeah.
But then at around puberty, our hair all starts to get darker. And
or curly.
Yeah.
It begins to like pop up.
Mine did too. Mine got curly and darker. But yeah, Max and Chloe are like, they literally could live in Deutschland. I know.
Deutsch or Swedish.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Stockholm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could live in Stockholm. They would be very much like, and the big feet, like it's just like they're not like the other ones.
Yeah.
One night, my boyfriend borrowed my cell phone. His was broken. To go have a boys' night with his best friend. When he came to get me at the end of the night,
idiot. Yes.
And return my phone, he left his Facebook on with all the proof. Not only was
he signed into his own Facebook on her phone.
Well, he probably was communicating. That's how he thought he could get through things. Not only was he trying to hook up with 10 different women that night, but he was also texting my friends from my contacts. We argued on the way home and hit a curb so hard that both tires on my side went flat. I was only 17, so I stupidly kept forgiving him. He went home for Thanksgiving, and his ex-girlfriend posted proof of him messaging her on the post. I made fun of the birthday cake I made him. So she made him a birthday cake, and that girl made fun of him. I mean, she just kept taking him back and back and back, and then they broke up.
I can't believe she was only 17 when she had to deal with that.
I mean, that is very common. Look, think about the drama of, the drama in teen relationships is what keeps you coming back, because it is often so fueled with like, I need you, I love you, I won't do it again. Like it's so, like they think they love each other. They actually, maybe they do. I'm not going to discount it. Maybe that's teen love because you don't have to worry about anything but your feelings. Like that's what you just worry about. And I do think that, a lot of teenagers do shitty things in relationships, and they just it's easy to go back.
I did a lot of shitty things.
Yeah. And doesn't mean you're a shitty person. I think it just means that you're young.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I bet a lot of people,
I knew this story, but these were married people, and they,
shit.
What time is it?
The banker's calling me. I'll call her back.
If he was having, he was having an affair, right? But she didn't know, and he came home like drunk, and he fell asleep with his phone open.
Oh,
so she took it.
Oh,
and there it all was.
And they were married.
Yeah.
Okay.
That ended that one.
Oh shit!
I just kind of feel like if you work so,
and they were married. Did they have kids? Kids.
I kind of feel like if you are having an affair and you're working so hard to be sneaky about it, and then you get caught like that, I'm like, doofus. I think they just get too comfortable. I think they're just getting away with it, and they're just kind of like, oh, like, dumb. I'm glad he got caught, but like, idiot, like, don't fall asleep with your phone open. Have it on, like, turned down and on lock.
I think that they don't think that they're like, they don't think their spouse would check their phone.
Yeah.
Like, I really would never go and check Mark's phone.
No,
like, I would never be like, I'm going to go check. I would never think to go through his phone.
I would never.
How boring. I wouldn't be like, let me go through your phone and check all your things. Like, fuck no. Maybe newly married you do if you're like insecure in your relationship. But now I'm like, ugh, no chance.
I know.
No chance.
I know.
Like, how? No.
Oh, yeah. Boring. Boring.
How boring.
Boring.
My husband is currently having an affair that's been going on for 14 years and counting. He started cheating just after 6 months of marriage. He moved the mistress into his parents' rental property, which both of his parents knew. His parents met her. the two of them would have sex at his parents' house as well. I do know about it and plan on leaving. Sadly, it just took me a long time to figure out my worth. And also, it was hard to believe that I really did marry someone like that.
14 years. Yeah. What the fuck is with that girl?
Which one?
I guess she got a free house to live in. The affair girl.
I think she got that. She got a free house.
She got a free house. Wait, did she have to rental property?
Yeah, the parents had a rental property.
Oh, so the parents weren't there when he was having sex.
It's just really crazy to think how much goes on behind closed doors and that we don't know about. And like everyone's like, no way, yes way.
Yes,
like
way.
when you hear these things, you're like, no way.
Yes.
And people are that, yes.
And then if you're, you start talking about it, everyone's like, I know someone that did that too. I know someone that we know like couple swapping. But unintentional.
But they were cheating first.
Cheating.
And then they ended up swapping because it was like, oh, fuck. Well, Shania Twain did it.
Yes.
And he was cheating on her with the best friend. More shit happens and doesn't, but you don't think it does because Jerry Springer's gone now. And so is Maury Povich.
I just watched the Jerry Springer documentary.
It's basically Jerry Springer was Reddit and BuzzFeed. And Jerry Springer's gone. So now you don't know because that felt fake too. It felt like wrestling, but I think it was real.
Well, watch it. It's
is it real? Just burst my bubble.
It is real. It is
Are
real.
they real? Were they real? But they made it more like it was like Dr. Phil, where they made it dramatic. They tried to get them to fight.
They tried to get them to fight, and they egged them on, but they did it. Which means they were the kind of people that would do it. Like
they actually did have. They didn't know whose baby it was, and they had to find out who. And it was their best friend's cousins, like their mom's husband.
But like if it was you and me that went on the show, we're never going to rip each other's hair and fight. You're the kind of people that would do that, and they all came from a specific place on the map. Like it was an area where they knew they could get people like that. And they showed like the map and they're like, this is where we'd get our people from. Because however they grew up or whatever.
It was just how it was like a neighborhood gone sideways. Or they were willing to talk.
But it was more like a state. Like an area where you could get people like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting.
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people were like, no chance. Yeah, chance. And I bet if you actually think about it, like I'm trying to think of people who have crazy stories. Yeah, they do. Let's take a quick break and I got one for you here. Oh my God, this is so bad. This is a bad one.
Oh no.
We'll be right back.
No.
My boyfriend was truly Prince Charming. The first year of our relationship, premier seating at concerts, expensive dinners, and trips around the country.
Rich.
He told me multiple times a day how much he loved me and how lucky he was going to be with me.
Oh.
How lucky he was to be with me. I was his life partner. Then a year later, I felt weird down below and asked him if he needed to tell me something before I went to the doctor to check it out. Over a video call, he admitted to cheating on me while on a business trip. I lost it and immediately made a doctor's appointment. The next day, I agreed to meet him and talk. After crying and sharing how much this hurt, he promised he had nothing else to hide. I asked to see his phone, and he cursed at me and drove away. Red flags. I accepted his apology days later, and we rekindled our relationship. Idiot, not done. A few weeks later, through my own detective work, I discovered he slept with at least 20 sex workers around the country while on business trips. He had a sex addiction with sex workers, but wanted to appear normal during family dinners and business parties. This is where I came in. It turned out his dad and uncle also had been sleeping with sex workers for years, and that's where he picked up his habit. So this man was okay with knowing his dad and his uncle did it behind his mom. It made it normal. Eventually, my test came back negative, and I moved on.
Oh, she just had a little itch.
Yeah, it was just like you.
She's just like me.
It's just.
By the way, in our comments, someone said, and it's a really good point. Like I remember when I was having my the guy.
Yeah, he could be cheating on you.
So that's what someone said.
Yeah,
and I remember saying like when I was getting my what's it called?
Yeah, your pap smear.
Yeah, why did it used to be called a schmear? I think my mom still calls it a schmear.
Pap smear.
Yeah, pap smear.
Because you schmear.
So she was like something like, I know. You don't have to be tested for HPV if you're in a committed
monogamous relationship. I am. But is he?
Yeah. Everybody thinks they're in a monogamous relationship. Nobody knows
unless you know.
unless you know. So I was kind of like, it's kind of weird that we don't have to be tested, because if we were to get HPV,
It's his fault.
It's his fault, but also you could be getting cervical cancer
Because of him.
because of him and not know it because you're in a monogamous relationship.
But you killed me. So you're dead.
Dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
also,
you'd be allowed to
I
murder
know
him.
someone that's happened to, and so do you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's more common than we know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know 2 people, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who got HPV?
No. Who's had their partners were sleeping with sex trade workers.
HPV.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's common because they think that they can't get caught. You know what I mean? That's what they think. They're like, oh, there's no thing. I can't get
If
caught.
some fucking idiot is having sex with sex trade workers without a condom, are you fucked?
Maybe, but even with a condom, like it's not even like, but even with a condom, it's still like terrible.
Of course it is.
I mean, like, but they think they can't get caught.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes they think that the sex trade workers can often go and like they get tested a lot of them. So
Yeah.
but still
Mm-hmm.
doing other things can pass on things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just,
Especially herpes. That one you can't protect.
yeah. And other things too, I think, can go everywhere. My dad cheated on my mom and used his work as an excuse to travel for the affair. The other
Good one.
woman was also married. Then when I was about to turn 5 years old, we started the process of moving to be closer to my grandparents. What my mother didn't know was that my dad was setting her up with a support system so he could leave her for the other woman.
Oh, it's kind of nice.
The other woman actually lived in the same town as my grandparents. My mother caught him sneaking in after 6 months, and then he moved out. They divorced by my 6th birthday, and my dad married the other woman 2 years later. They've been married for over 20 years now. My mom got her happy ending, though. She met a man with a son the same age as my sister and married him when I was in high school. They've been together 25 years. Beautiful story.
Beautiful story. A couple things. Had a same age as my sister. I thought it was going to be that they got married as well.
Oh my God.
I mean, he was a little bit thoughtful in setting her up with a support system before he left her.
It's like very smart.
I
Let's
mean,
move there. But his girlfriend was there
Yeah,
too.
that was-
It's
yeah.
but if she thinks that it was for her, that makes you feel good. You know, she's like, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
But no, it was because his girlfriend was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was almost.
I guess it worked out all around.
It was almost a nice story.
Everybody seems happy.
Yeah, they're all happy.
That's not grotesque.
No, that is not
Oh.
grotesque. Although grotesque that he moved her to the town.
Yeah, acting
thinking,
like
you
he
know,
was doing it.
like, I'm gonna do you a favor. I mean, we have so many to go.
I'm gonna need another one.
Okay, I'll give you one more. I mean,
I'm really in.
This is kind of dramatic.
Oh, good.
Okay, it's kind of sad. It was a day when life itself seemed to collapse beneath me. That morning, I lost my brother unexpectedly, my best friend, and an anchor in a chaotic world. My dad lay dying just a few feet away in the ICU, a victim of medical negligence, his body failing from acute kidney failure. In a small town hospital, the lines between life and death blurred as I shuffled between the ER where my brother's life had just ended and my father's bedside where he was slipping away.
She's a really good writer.
When we finally returned home that evening, I held my husband's phone in my hands, looking for solace in photos and letters my brother had written me. My mother and I read his final words together, desperate for some shred of comfort. Then a text notification appeared, a name I recognized, but its context felt wrong. Thinking it was another condolence, I opened it. What I found instead unraveled the last thread, holding my world together. Confused, I scrolled further with my grief-stricken mother beside me. Message after message, the truth came out. My husband had been cheating on me with his coworker. On the same day I lost my brother, I also lost my marriage. Oh, God. 3 weeks later, the unbearable stress caused me to miscarry. In 1 month, I lost my brother, my father, my marriage, and the child I was carrying.
You can't end there.
It was a tidal wave of grief that left me struggling to breathe. Want me to make up the ending that she's so happy now?
Yes.
She's actually
Yeah.
met the love of her life who protects her and loves her. And he is a billionaire.
I was gonna say he's so
and
rich.
she has 4 kids and they're all like, and her husband
Oh, yeah.
has nobody.
Yeah.
And the mom is so happy for her.
And the husband has gonorrhea. Incurable. Her ex-husband is incurable gonorrhea.
Uh-huh.
That is a lot. Like, what was that?
Just get the fuck out. Change your life.
Okay.
Move on.
Mm-hmm.
This is terrible, but don't rely on him.
Mm-hmm.
Get him out.
Right.
Let's go through grief all at once.
Yeah.
Hammer, move on.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this for 3 years.
Yeah.
One and done.
Yeah. He's not going to be the one you're going to lean on.
No.
Okay, good.
We're done. So I just thought I would. I mean, there's more. We'll have to come back because there's like 20. How many did I say? There was 20?
And you know what's
grotesque.
great about these, like, you know, when they ignite not only our conversation, but it also ignites stories that we forgot about.
Last one. We'll just end on this one because there's cocaine in it.
Yes.
I was cheated on by my ex while I was sleeping in the next room. He cheated with some random female his nephew brought over to do cocaine with. His niece and a neighbor told me about it. I immediately left him. End of story. Cocaine cannot go into your life or you're going to end up cheating on someone. just like, wow, cocaine is so prevalent on
I've got
BuzzFeed.
a story. So I've got 2 stories to tell you now.
See? Cocaine just triggers it all.
One really is about cocaine.
Wow. So cocaine just makes you do bad things.
I don't know.
Wow. Well,
there's probably some good cocaine
ruined 2
stories
people's lives, but details.
We weren't having an affair. We were just doing cocaine.
That's the best. I'm not sleeping with her. We are just, get it together. I'm doing cocaine. What the hell? What the hell? Can you imagine? Are you like, what?
I mean, he should have gone they should have leaned in really and said, we have a drug problem.
We're getting help. We're actually with our sponsor right now.
Yes.
We're just doing it one last time and then we're gonna move on.
And we are not attracted to each other.
No, at all. We didn't just fuck like bunnies.
No,
and
I do not do lines of cocaine off of her pussy. No.
Obviously they had something in common. Cocaine and sex.
Yeah.
So maybe they weren't in love with each other. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, happy Friday. Just a light cocaine story.